Hi everybody! I just want to take a second to introduce myself. My name is Scarlett Thorne, and right now I'm a freshman in college. I'm just finishing up my first year, and I'm a major in construction management. And so this video is just going to be a little bit about my advice to people who are freshmen in high school, or even just any year in high school. This advice is going to be most helpful to those who are just starting out. And I just have a couple things that either I did and I thought really helped my experience, or things that I wish I had done. Okay, the first thing that I have to say is that at this point in your life, this is probably the last time that you will have a lot of free time. When you get older and older, you get more and more responsibilities on you, so just try and enjoy that free time that you have and really fill it with something that's going to be valuable in your life. Whether that's getting a hobby, and hobbies, I feel like people don't focus on them as much anymore, but I would not say that YouTube and video games are hobbies. Those are really fun pastimes on occasion, but if you're spending so much time on them, it's probably not going to be very good for your well-being, and honestly, it's not going to be giving you much satisfaction out of that momentary enjoyment. YouTube is great. I love YouTube. I probably shouldn't be spending so much time on it, but I love it. So what is a hobby? I mean, that can be anything from the arts, music, painting, drawing, anything like that, to more sports or just social activities with friends, or sewing, or cooking. Cooking is a really great one because if you're a good cook, people tend to just love you. Basically, at this point in your life, you might suck at any of these things, and maybe you've never tried painting before, but you've always thought it was fun. So just try it and don't be too hard on yourself. Just enjoy the time that you have right now and accept that at this point in your life, you are not the most skilled at something. But if you find something and you find that you really love it and you really enjoy it, if you keep building on that and practicing, you will see results. And if you, let's say, for example, you really like to write, and you're gonna look back in a few years at whatever you're writing right now and be like, yikes, that was not very good. But that's okay, because the only way that you get better at things is by practicing more and more. And the best feeling is looking back and seeing that you had something that you did, that you have accomplished, and it's just a really great feeling. And at this time in your life, I'd say that this is the most time that you have freedom to do these things, especially if you don't have a job yet. And who knows, I mean, you never know what the possibilities are going to be if you don't try opening that door, but you could lead yourself into your future career or something. It's all open at this point, and that's really a great thing. Another thing that I recommend to everybody is to join a sport. Now, I wasn't very much a sports person, but I had always wanted to experience that, and I wasn't fit, so I wasn't really going to be great for the main sports that my school was good at. But I would say if you aren't that into sports, try to find something that doesn't do any cuts. So with the tryouts, they just kind of rank you or do something similar to that and let you enjoy it. For me, I did tennis, and I was the lowest on the rank, but it was a great experience. I'm happy that I did it in the end, because it just gave me a new perspective on things. It helped me understand teamwork a little more, and it brought me a little more community in my life, which is something that is really important at any age, but especially at this age when you are so early into this new experience. Maybe you're going to a bigger school, I don't know your specific situation, but I would definitely recommend trying to find a sport that isn't so picky. If you're really great at sports, obviously go for whatever sport you're already good at, but if you haven't done sports before, just try to find something that's community. It's going to get you active, which is always important. It'll probably get you out in some sun, and all of these things are going to be great for your mental, physical, and spiritual health. I can say that from experience, that it really does help, and it's just, again, awesome to look back on. Another thing is joining a club. Now, this kind of can go hand in hand with sports or with getting a hobby. If there's a club there that does something that you enjoy, go join it. And if you really are that spirited person and they don't have a club for what you do, go find some people and start a club doing whatever you want. And another thing that I recommend is just to try and get some new skills. Do you know how to cook? Do you know how to garden? Do you know things that are going to help you once you're a grown-up? Because at this point, you're probably around 14, 15, you only have really a few more years until people are going to say that you're responsible. And a lot of times parents do give you more support, but if you start learning these things now, it will tremendously help you as an adult. And that's my first bit of advice. Now, the second thing you need to really think of before you're going into your freshman year is if you want to go to college. Now, I'm not saying you have to decide what your major is going to be right now or get that stressed about it, but just decide, do you see yourself wanting to go to college? And if you do, this is something that is really important that I don't think that they tell everybody. So this is really important. You should talk to your counselor about the universities or schools that are in your state and what kind of scholarships that they offer. Now, this is important at this first year because these kind of things can tell you what kind of GPA you might need to go to that school with potentially a full ride scholarship. So if you need a 4.0 GPA to get a full ride scholarship and you know that at your freshman year, that's going to help you a lot because then you can plan these things and not let yourself slack off, and you could end up getting college for free. That's what happened in my experience, and it was really great. I mean, I had resources that were telling me, but they don't tell everybody that. So sometimes you have to go out of your way to ask about these things and see if there is anything in your community that can help that, because anything that, if you are going to go to college, if you can prevent student loans, it's going to be great. But that being said, you don't have to go to college. I'm going to be the first to say this, and I'm going to make a whole other video on this, but going to college is not necessary for everyone, and that's a decision that you have to make. Now, if you don't have a counselor or they're not very helpful on this, you're going to have to do your own research. I'm sure you know what universities are in your state, so just look at those first, because state scholarships, basically, if you're a resident of the state, that's how you're going to get the most scholarships, is if you go to an in-state school. And I really recommend that over other paths just because most of the time they're going to accept you more likely than other schools, and you're not going to be put in so much debt. So that would be my biggest, out of anything in this video, this is the biggest advice, is just to decide, do you see yourself wanting to go to college at all? And if you do, make some goals for yourself of what you want to achieve in high school, because it really can be a game changer later on when you're looking at the bills and you have nothing to pay. It's a pretty great feeling. And another thing is, either way, work hard these first years, because school only gets harder progressively. And if you do your work now, it's going to help you so much more when you get to senior year. There's these things like senioritis, you kind of get burnt out. And if you've already set yourself, a high standard, and whatever that may be for you, maybe it's all A's, maybe all B's, whatever your highest standard is, try and reach that right now, because I promise you it is so much easier to work from a good point than to get, let's say, all D's. So you get all D's, you're going to be struggling so hard the rest of your high school experience to make up for those grades. But if you start at all B's or C's, or even A's are the best, of course, if you start up there, it's going to be so much easier for you going on to just keep momentum. And then if you get a really, a bad teacher, or you aren't motivated, or there's life issues going on, it's going to help you so much to have this background of good grades and good everything, because that's going to help you later on. Another thing is just, high school can come with a lot of drama, and I would just say that my biggest advice is not to take this all seriously, because from someone who's 19, I really don't remember half of what my drama was about in high school, and I wish I hadn't let it focused on it so much. I really think that the best way to go through high school is to just be friendly and nice to people, even if, you have judgments in your head of people. Everybody has judgments, but we really don't know what's going on in people's lives around us. And the more people that are friendly and sweet to each other at every school, the better the experience is going to be. And there's always going to be catty people, but if you don't let that energy bring you down, you can elevate people around you and make the experience better for everybody. And if you're nice to people, you make the community stronger. And each person that can be nice to each other, it just makes a whole better experience. We're not made to judge people. We all have our own faults, so that's not the way that you should be going about high school either. We're so young at that point that it's like everybody's gonna make mistakes, so there's no reason to be so upset about it, because there's really nothing you can do to change what other people choose. Another thing that can help you not take things so seriously is to work out. Now, I'm not saying you have to go get a gym membership, but you can do 50 squats, 50 push-ups, just some little working out. Make yourself your own regimen and try to at least stick to it sometimes. It's really hard to motivate yourself, but it does make yourself feel better, especially if you can stick to it for a long time. And those first few weeks are so hard, but it really will help your mental state a lot to get active. This has been proven in scientific studies and everything. So if you're struggling with like anxiety and stress, this is probably a great step for you. And I know that it's hard, but just start small. Just some squats. You can do them in your bedroom right now while I finish this video even. You don't have to be in this whole gear or everything. And then you can just move on from there. You can make your own goals for yourself. Whatever you want for yourself, you can do it. Another thing I recommend is to meditate. Now, I don't mean you have to go sit and for 30 minutes. I just suggest taking a little time away from everything. And the best place to do this is outside, because we, in this day and age, don't spend that much time outside. So if you go sit outside for 15 or 20 minutes a day and you put your phone inside, you just sit there, even if you're still thinking about stuff, if you're just looking at the world around you, you're going to appreciate it more, you're going to get some fresh air, and it really will help you. I'm trying to do these in my life now. I'm not perfect in any way, but these are things that I think will help everybody, and if you do it, it's going to help your mind with your family, with your friends, and everything, and it's going to lead you to make better decisions. The next thing is really to be grateful. Now, the first thing in being grateful is respecting your parents. And I know parents are not perfect. There are parents out there that you may say are horrible. But either way, it's still going to be the best thing to respect them. Now, I struggled with this, but I think this is one thing I would have done more, is to be respectful of my parents and not be so emotional. You have to think that, yes, right now, you've probably just gotten out of puberty or are still going through it, so you have a lot of emotional hormones going on. So if you think about that when you're having an emotional outbreak, you're just really upset, you need to think, I probably have a bunch of hormones going through me. And just, with parents it's hard because they know all your buttons. They've known you your whole life, and they know exactly what can get you riled. And whether or not they intend to do that is very easy to, especially at this point in our lives. But sometimes these times can really break up a family if you don't keep the respect going through this age. And it's going to be smoother for you overall. And some parents are really overwhelming, but if you just take them with love and support and you consider what they're saying, it's going to be a much better experience. The next thing in being grateful is to take responsibility. And that means cleaning your room, because let's be honest, not everybody has a bedroom. I've met people who had to sleep in their living room or were sharing a room with their mom. And if you have your own bedroom, or you share it with a sibling, or you have a house, you should be grateful for that, because not everybody in this world has that. Not everybody at your school has that. So you need to be grateful for what you have, because that's going to bring a better community around you. Now, that can also be taken into taking your pets for a walk. This is also a great time to do that meditating we talked about, to take your animals for a walk. Or, the more things that you are responsible of, the better of a person you're going to be. And I know at this point it's kind of hard. You're thinking about responsibility, or like, I'm so young. Get a plant. Take care of something, and I promise you, you will feel better about yourself. Alright, this one's pretty big. And this is all about dating. I know right now we're so excited. There's these cute boys, cute girls in class, and you just want to date them. My biggest advice, if you're a freshman, do not date a junior or senior. Whether you're a boy or a girl or anything else, do not date a junior or senior. And this may sound a little silly. Why? They're only a few years older than you. In high school, you mature quite a lot over those few years. And if someone's a junior or senior and they're trying to date a freshman, not every time, but a lot of the time, it's because they know that it's easy to take advantage of these young children who haven't learned so much about experiences. And from most of the relationships that I've seen happen when I was in high school with people who were freshmen dating juniors or seniors, it didn't work out well. Sometimes it was manipulative. And look, if you're dating somebody who's a junior or senior, I just think that you should look at it in a different light. Think, are they really making me feel good? Is this something healthy for me? Is it taking away my time to be focusing on myself? Because at this point, you don't need to be dating. You're so young, And you could be building friendships with people. And if there's a really cute junior or senior and they want to date you, try just staying friends with them for a while. Once you're a little older and they're a little older, maybe you can date them then. But another thing with that is don't date people just to say that you're dating somebody, because that's just a pointless outlook. And at this point, it's just so silly to look at things like that, because really at this point, there's no need to be tied down to somebody unless you really like them, you think they're a great person. It shouldn't just be about looks or just be about how they're funny. It should be all of that. There should be somebody that's compatible with you, who doesn't make you feel bad about yourself. And there's a lot of resources on this, and yeah. And another thing, I'm not going to touch on this much, but all I'm saying is just to hold off on sex for as long as possible. I can go into this in more detail later, but I would just say hold off on having sex for as long as you can. And this is to boys and girls, because you're never going to regret waiting. You may want that right now, but you will never regret waiting a little bit longer. And, it's all on your own terms, but I would just say wait as long as you can, because it's going to make you feel better, you'll be more mature, and you'll be better able to handle these things. The last thing I have to say to you is just to have some fun. These last few years as a kid are the only times that you have to really just have fun and not really have many consequences. Now, you can take that advice however you want, but that's all I really have to say today. So I hope you have a great day. If you have anything that you want to comment on about this, just let me know in the comments, or if there's something you want me to explain in more detail, just let me know. And yeah, hopefully you guys have a great day and a great high school experience.